Hello athletes, it has been 2 weeks since the first look video I did on the Newton Distance S9. I had the time to put several miles on different type of tests on these shoes, and I'm going to share those results with you, and hopefully you can get answers about if the shoes are like fast or if they are worth $155, if they are comfortable, and how they're holding up. So basically, you can decide if they are the shoes for you. The 3 tests that I run, I compare them with a prior pair of shoes that I was using. I'm still using them. They're Brooks, nothing fancy, a lot of cushion on the heel. The 3 tests that I ran, it was a tempo run for 40 minutes, 1 hour run, moderate hard intensity after 1 hour bike ride, and 12 miles. On the results on all of them, they were all favorable. I got faster times on all 3 results. With except the tempo run, I ran the other 2 with zone 2 on my heartbeat. So I wanted to try to just trying to do them, and I did them at the same time to keep consistently the best that I could do regarding the environment and the circumstances around them. The tempo run in 40 minutes, I was not surprised. That was faster, but still fairly close. Since I was trying, tempo runs, usually we're trying to put a good amount of effort on those runs. I was running around probably 7:45 tempo run before. With the other shoes, with the Newton Distance, I was running around like 7:40 and 7:35. So five seconds even in the first one. I was more than happy with that. The hour moderate hard intensity after the bike ride, that one still was faster. It was a hard zone 2. I was running around 8:30 with my old shoes. With the distance, I ran a few runs around like 8:20, 8:24. Even one I ran at around 8:15. So that was pretty good. And on the half marathon, or the 12 miles, I ran also faster time. I was around 8:45 for that, and I was running around like 8:35. I don't think that the shoes are necessarily making me faster. I think it's a yes or no about how, if I'm faster with the shoes. I think that my pace is the same. I actually took the time to break down the pace per mile, and the pace itself is the same. It's just I was able to hold longer that quick pace, or like that 8:30 minute pace, than the other one. So once I was running, for example, on the 12 mile, 3/4 in the run into the run, I usually I guess I'm starting to get tired, losing form, and I drop a little bit of that pace, and that's where I lose that time. While with these ones, I was able to keep that pace throughout the whole run, and I think that's what it makes me faster. Now, I love these shoes. I mean, it's like in the sense that they are light, and just anything like for runners that they're like really trying to drop their times. These are definitely like shoes that are worth trying. Now, are these shoes for you? Well, I just don't want to say that you base them only on faster times. For example, like I mentioned before, they're $155. One thing that I noticed about the shoe, for example, after 60 miles, is they are holding up very well. But if you look at the prongs, you can tell the front part of the top prong is the only part I'm using of the prong. I noticed that really 2-3 runs into the run. I started noticing that it was eating just the front part and not using the rest. I don't know, that's maybe 25%, maybe less of the whole surface. I tried to correct that. I thought I did, but it seems that I'm still landing on that section over there. So this is just 60 miles. At this rate, it may last 200, maybe 250 miles, and you'll start noticing that the surface is kind of going to get uneven. So I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe the performance of the shoe will change when that happens, but that was kind of a little bit a disappointment. in that sense, but all premium shoes are usually like that. They are not meant to last forever, like maybe some other sturdy shoes. But that's something that you have to have in mind when you pay $155 for these shoes. Overall, I found them very, very comfortable. The mesh, it was very flexible, and I was able to move my toes around without any issues. I run with socks and sockless for the triathletes out there, and I had no issues, no rashes, no blisters. I did not use Body Glide or any sort of cream to minimize that, so that's even a better result. I did change the insole. I mentioned, like in my first look video, I mentioned that the insole, it was very thin and minimalistic, and it didn't have a lot of cushion, so I put a little bit better with heel and arch support. It's still very thin, not very thick. So I tried another insole with a thicker padding on the shoe, and it completely changed it. It just didn't work. So that if you have thick insoles, have that in mind. It just changes the shoe itself. The only other thing that I added is the quick release. Since there is a lot of elasticity on the shoelaces, and I noticed that they were coming undone when I was not using the quick release. So I used that, and that fixed the problem. The only other thing that I would say is, like, if you're like a heel runner, you'll have to be careful, because the transition from your heel running technique to these shoes, it will be a difference. The first week actually, I used these shoes, and I'm a mid-foot forerunner, so I thought that I was not going to have a lot of issues. I noticed I had a lot of aches and a lot of like pains between the Achilles tendon from the heel to the base of the calf. That I was really sore. I had to stretch a lot for that first week. I couldn't roll too much because it was tender. So the second week transition, it was much better. I felt a little bit of pain, a little bit of discomfort during the runs, but after that it was not that bad compared with the first week, where I was aching like almost like all the time. So if you're like a completely heel runner, transitioning to these shoes, you'll probably have to give some time. At least I'm giving myself another 2 weeks before I go for a longer run than 12 miles to feel fully comfortable. So I think that it could require at least 60 days for doing a transition from heel run to fully these shoes type of running. So anyway, those are my thoughts. I definitely, it's a shoe that I'm going to keep. I'm going to keep playing with it, especially for runners that we always trying to get like somehow like a little bit faster. I would say that if you're a runner that runs 7-minute pace or faster than that, you may not see gains as big as the ones that I just mentioned. And obviously, I even wonder if you want to do a transition to this type of shoe if you're already running that fast of a pace. I think that you still probably will gain out of the shoes. But I think that the faster you are, probably the gains are a little bit less, definitely. So drop any comments on the comment section if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.